Hiya, how's it going? I'm going to talk to you today about how to give yourself permission. I have found the one room in my house that doesn't smell of perfume because Rosa, my daughter, who is 7 years old, got a whole bottle of perfume and doused the entire house in perfume. And it was interesting. We had a big chat about it, and she's taken responsibility for it. She got a little bit of her own money to get lemons and bicarb of soda, and she cleaned the house and she apologised. She took responsibility for it. I felt really proud of her for that. That said, the smell of it is a lot. So I'm looking forward to the day which comes when my whole house doesn't smell like perfume. But that said, we're here, we carry on, and I want to chat to you about giving yourself permission. Why? Well, every week when I record these episodes, what I do is number one, think about something that I've been struggling with and overcoming that could help. But number two is just think, what's the secret skill or attribute that I have that can really help you guys? And I'm constantly thinking, how can I help you guys? How can my life and my struggles and my problems help you guys? How can the solutions to my problems help you guys? And one thing that I'm able to do very well is give myself permission to try things. A couple of years ago, I really was obsessed about acting and movies and making movies, and that's a long-standing passion. I've always loved film. I think a bit of it is just these lovely autism caves of the cinema where you can go and just chill out and relax, and I find it really rejuvenating. I always leave the cinema with like a brand new personality, and I love it. I just love being in those spaces. But a couple of years ago I decided I want to try acting. I want to give it a try and just see what it feels like to act in a film. And so I did. And I was quite scared about the prospect of it, because when you're competent in one area, I'm very competent as a songwriter, competent as a producer, and now as a coach. That was new at that time as well. But when you're competent in one area, it's actually kind of hard to give yourself permission in some other areas. And yet, for some reason, I'm able to. Why is that? I think part of the reason could be my parents. My mum and my dad were both quite bohemian in their own ways, both quite good in very different ways at giving themselves permission to just try stuff that they wanted to do. And I think in many ways that is my secret power, or not so secret power, now that there's a club and there's 700 of us in there and we're learning this stuff, and I'm exploring it with all you guys and unpacking it, and I'm loving that process. But point being, what you coach on, in my view, ought to be the thing that comes naturally to you. Sometimes the value you have to give the world ends up being the thing that you do most naturally. And how to give yourself permission to do things is one of the areas I find myself naturally gifted in. And so I want to share with you today my perspectives on giving yourself permission, and I think you're going to get a lot of value out of it. So I hope you enjoy these thoughts, these ideas. What is permission? I was thinking about this when I was making some notes for today's episode. What is permission? Well, I think permission is your ability to tolerate failure and shame, right? This kind of sounds funny because I think often we hear and think of permission as something which is very positive only, right? Like, oh, permission, you really are able to have the confidence or put yourself out there and try things. Or permission means you're allowed to do it, but also I think it means that you can experience failure experience shame, and simply feel them and not make them mean anything about you, and still keep trying. That's such a big component, to feel the shame, to feel the embarrassment, to feel the negative emotion, and to not make it mean anything about you. I was recently recording an album for a new friend of mine who is making her first proper album. We were lucky enough to spend a couple of days together in the most amazing studio, and I was watching her go through this process, and it's a process that I've been through many times when I've been making my albums, which is you start making this piece of art and you feel like you're going to die because it's really, really hard, and you experience all the feelings of limitation, all the feelings of negativity, all the feelings of am I good enough? And so many of the people who I work with as a coach go through this process where they give themselves permission to try something, be that their first album, be that a book, be that losing fat, whatever, and they start to experience the negative emotion, and they think that it means that they are not doing it right or that something's wrong. And actually, what I want to offer you is that when you put yourself into the arena of life and you put yourself through the emotional work of giving yourself permission to try things, it does feel bad. And if feeling bad doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It actually just means you're on the right path. So if permission is the ability to tolerate failure and shame, what else is permission? Permission is also allowing. What is allowing? Well, I was thinking about the word allowing, and it's an interesting word. So allowing is moving out of the way. So if Rosa comes to me, my daughter, and says, I want to go out to play with my friends outside, and I say no, then I stop her from doing that. If she says, I want to play with my friends outside, and I say, sure, on you go, I'm allowing her to pass through. I'm giving her permission to pass through and go and do the thing that she wants to do. So permission is us allowing ourselves to move out of our own way, allowing ourselves to move through our own resistance. Where are you already giving yourself permission? If you're someone who's right now struggling to give yourself permission to do some of the bigger things, where are you already giving yourself permission? And I was thinking about this the other night when I found myself scrolling on my phone, doom scrolling, as the young ones say. And it was really interesting because I caught myself in the act. I've been doom scrolling, and then I thought, this is bad, stop doing this. But then also I thought, well, I'm a grown-up, and you know what, I have permission to. Not that I want to, but sometimes it's good to remember that we're making choices everywhere all the time. Everything's a choice. And when you're feeling done in and burnt out and like you can't face it, it's good to remember I'm choosing all this stuff. Or if you're feeling like I don't want to do this, it's good to remember as an adult, you're choosing it right now. And with the choice then comes the power to change it. So allowing yourself, giving yourself permission, moving out of your own way. One of the objections I will hear from people when they begin this work of allowing themselves and giving themselves permission to try and do all the things that they want to do is a concern with that being selfish. And if you're concerned about giving yourself permission and you're concerned that you're going to be selfish if you do, what I want to give you is this tool, and this tool is going to help you know whether your desires are selfish or whether your desires are there to help others. So there are two kinds of desires: true desires and false desires. Now, your true desires will serve as an example to the people around you, and your false desires will only serve you. Let me give you an example. If you want to go and eat chocolate and watch Netflix, you could give yourself permission to do that. You could allow yourself to do that. And sometimes it can be a healthy part of a balanced life and rest and enjoyment of all of the amazing things that we have available to us in the modern world. But sometimes when you're giving yourself permission to do that kind of stuff over and over, or drinking all the time, or taking drugs, or overeating, or watching Netflix, avoiding physical discomfort, those false desires, how you can tell they're false desires is they won't lead you anywhere more meaningful. Now, a true desire could be something like, I want to lose body fat. I want to create more money in my life. I want to be a more present parent. I want to release an album. I want to release a book. I want to leave my job. I want to create an amazing relationship in my life. These are all true desires. Now, how do you know if something is a true desire? The way you will know is when you think about what you have to do to get to that true desire. There's a whole bunch of obstacles in between you and the attainment of that desire. And those obstacles are a good thing. Those obstacles are the thing that's going to make you a better person. Those obstacles, in many ways, are like the weights in the gym. So if you walk into the gym, you'd never say, why is there so many weights in here? You would walk into the gym and think, great, this is where the weights are. You'd start lifting the weights and you'd know that was the point. True desires are the gym of your life. They're how you put yourself in the way of a lot of effort, a lot of obstacle in order to get stronger on purpose. So that's how you're going to know if your desires are true or false. And here's the thing, true desires always serve as an example to others. If you decide you're going to create more abundance, if you decide you're going to get more confident, putting yourself out there, or create muscle, or lose fat, or create more money, or get in shape, if you decide you're going to create a great relationship, create better boundaries in your life, all these things, all these true desires serve as an example to the people around you. And all your false desires, like eating chocolate, watching Netflix, avoiding discomfort, none of those serve as an example to the people around you. So don't worry. If you're afraid of being selfish, don't worry, because the most selfish thing you can do is not give the world your example. So I release you of that. Let it be gone. You're the guardian of the gate of your life. This is a beautiful thought. Think about this. As a child, you need a parent to give you permission to do anything. And I see this frustration in my daughter all the time. Obviously, that's how it's meant to be. She's only 7 years old. So it's my job to make sure that she eats vegetables. It's my job to make sure that she has good connections around her and is able to communicate clearly and is able to express her needs clearly. It's my job to make sure that she's able to regulate her emotional states. It's my job that she sleeps at the right times and plays at the right times to some extent. It's my job to give her that framework. Now, as an adult, you are the guardian of the gate of your life. So right now, if you're not making that piece of art, if you're not releasing that book, you're not making that album, you're not losing that fat, you're not creating that abundance, all of that is because of you. And that's a tough pill to swallow. But the beautiful thing about that is once you know that, it's also all on you to create the opposite. So all of the amazing positive stuff that can come from you getting out of your own way is completely up to you as well. You are the guardian at the gate of your life. I want to talk about a couple of examples that I saw of this when I was a kid, and they're not even very big examples, but they're pertinent to the discussion. So my best friend Lewis, when I was a teenager, early teenager, like 13, 14, my best friend at the time, Lewis, and his brother Jamie had this amazing mum, Tracy, and she really influenced me on the way that I am a parent now. And I honestly don't think that she was conscious of this at the time, because she was just being her. And it was very, very subtle. It wasn't anything mega obvious, but I saw her patience, and I saw her ability to maintain her own life within the frame of parenthood. Like, this might sound almost benign, but I remember she used to wear like cool trainers, and she had a nice peaceful house, and she had her house done out nice, and I noticed all that, and I thought, that's cool. I want to be like that when I'm a parent. Now, was Tracy thinking when she went to John Lewis, or when she went to like buy her cool shoes or do up her house, was she thinking like, what does Adam think? Let me really serve him as an example? Of course not. She was just being her, but her just being her gave me permission to see a different way of being. Similarly, my good friend Seppi, one of my best friends, bought a house where we live, and it's a beautiful big house. It's a big 3-story house. It's a gorgeous townhouse right in the town in Edinburgh, and she invited me round for the first time when we were hanging out, and I saw her house and I thought, wow, this is amazing, because where I came from, nobody lived in big houses like that. It was more like just everyone living in a tenement flat. And she in some ways was actually kind of ashamed of living in this big massive house. But for me, seeing her there and knowing that she came from a similar place to me was very inspiring and very uplifting. Now, at no point on her journey of the 15 years or whatever that took her to, let's say, get the first bit of capital, go in that house, move there, get that bit, work her way up, get herself into this beautiful house. She didn't even know me, so of course she wasn't thinking at all on that path, who am I going to serve, who am I going to inspire? But that true desire for her that moved her towards that goal of attaining this big gorgeous house ended up being such a beautiful thing, such a beautiful example to me. And I find this a really moving thing to think. When you think back on all the amazing work you've already done on creating this amazing life that you have already, who's that serving? Who's that inspiring? And it's beautiful to think about that. So don't be afraid of your true desires. They're a positive thing. I've developed 5 questions, and you can use these to give yourself more permission in your life. Number 1, do I owe anyone my old self? Do you need to stay the same? Do you owe that to anyone? Throughout my life, as someone who's been successful in a self-employed way, in a public way, I have had to constantly change the dynamics in my close relationships around me, because it's not normal for people to change a lot in the way that I've changed a lot. I've made a lot of decisions in my life to change my life, to go from one version of success, which was good and looked great and would be enough for one person, to flip into another mode of success. And it's not necessarily for me being about going up and up and up. It's just been about moving positions to find an authentic version of success as I move through my life. And throughout that journey, what I've learned is I don't owe anyone the old version of myself. If I was showing up in one particular way, doing one particular job, doing one particular way of living, I don't owe that to anyone from my old life. I have permission to change that at any point if that's what I want to do, and so do you. Number 2, does anyone owe me anything? One of the ways that we get very stuck in our past is believing that anyone owes us anything. And I had a big example of this just in the last week in my own personal life with one person from my family who I, for some reason, decided they owed me a way of responding to me they had used in the past, and they don't. And it kept me anchored into particular, quite painful aspects of my own past. And the truth is, if you want to move to the next place, you have to let go of the last branch. And one way that I see so many of us holding on to that branch is the feeling that we're owed something from people in our past. And we're all grown-ups. I just want to remind everyone of that. I'm a grown-up. If you're watching this, you're probably a grown-up. And that means that you don't owe anyone anything and nobody owes you anything. So make your life good for you. Number 3, how would your life change if you had permission already? I was making a music video a few years ago with my friend Tommy, and he's an amazing example of someone who can just give himself permission to do anything. And we had this dream of getting, there's a great writer from Scotland called Irvine Welsh, who wrote the book Trainspotting, which then became the film Trainspotting, and he's very active in the cultural scene in Scotland. We made this beautiful music video and song. It's a tremendous piece of work. It's called Hard Times. It's on YouTube. Go and watch it. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing to have Irvine Welsh talk on this at the end? It just felt like for that piece of art, it just would pull it together amazingly. And Tommy looked at me and he said, well, the only person stopping it from happening is you. And it was one of those thoughts that initially was very abrasive to me and felt reductive. But sometimes there's power in reducing things to that point, which is like, yeah, it is only me stopping it. And that is reductive. But really all that was going on was I was afraid of asking him. And once I stopped being afraid, and I figured it out, and I asked him, and he did it, and it made it just so special to have. And I'll have that for my whole life. That I have the guy who wrote Trainspotting is in one of my best pieces of work in my music video, making a piece of art with me. I watched Trainspotting as a little kid. Now we worked together on a thing. And the reason was because I gave myself permission. So how would your life change if you just gave yourself permission? Number 4, how do I want my children to see me? Do you want your kids to see you as someone who has a hard time giving yourself permission to do things? Or do you want your kids to see you as a person who unequivocally gives themselves permission to do things? Your choice. Number 5, am I willing to release the reward of having no permission? Big one. Big one. Am I willing to release the reward I'm currently getting of having no permission? If you're a grown-up, you do have permission to do the thing you want to do. And to be clear, I'm only recommending that you do things that are good for you and that are unharmful, that are positive within the world. If you decide that you want to change the way you look, or make more money, or have better boundaries, have better relationships with your kids, lose weight, gain muscle, whatever. If you decide you want to do that, or change job, that is a positive thing. and you have permission to do it. And what could be happening right now, and I've been there myself, is you're using other people as an excuse. So many of us, and many people who I will coach, will tell me, my mum doesn't like this, my dad doesn't like that, my brother will think I'm this, my partner will think I'm that. And here's the reality, here's the truth. It's you in relationship with yourself. And when all is said and done, and you're on your deathbed, you'll know that that's true. So you may as well know that that's true now. And you may as well accept that currently you're using other people who didn't ask to be used in this way as an excuse. And if you feel your ego fire up when I say that, then just know that I'm telling you this as someone who came from a background where, yes, I was given permission to try a lot of things, but also I've changed entire family structures. I've changed entire ways of relating to some of the people I'm supposed to be closest to in the pursuit of my most authentic life. And I've truly given myself permission to try everything. And that's not always been easy. It's been a struggle. But what I do know 100% is when all is said and done, there'll be nothing left for me on the table. Because I've tried everything that I want to do. And I've served as an example in the pursuit of it. And no one, nobody has stopped me. So I want you to think about that. I'm going to leave you with that point today. Is there someone that you're using as an excuse? I had people and circumstances who I really could have used as an excuse. And I could be living a much smaller life and no one would blame me for it. But that's not what I want. And I don't think that's what you want either. God bless you. Thanks for listening. Come and join my club. There's 700 of us in there. Click the link in the top comment. And if you need help, if you need to be supported in this journey, that's the best place for you. No doubt in my mind. It's the way I support myself, support my daughter. Spotify and Apple Music don't really pay me that much for my albums. So if you can afford to support me through the club, it's only $1.50. You get access to our WhatsApp groups. You get access to hours and hours of content. Come and join us. Click the link in the top comment. If you're already in the club, love you guys. Have a great week, and I'll catch you soon.